Stefanski is one of an outstanding coach. All right? But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see the Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever. Something's missing. Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
Rex Ryan just got hit with network discipline after his wild rant about Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders exploded online. During Monday's Get Up, Ryan went off on live TV, calling Sanders an embarrassment. And it didn't take long for the clip to light up every corner of social media. Fans were outraged, players clapped back, and even Sanders' family jumped into the mix, defending him from what they called straight-up disrespect. The chaos started after Sanders gave an interview on ESPN Cleveland last week, confidently saying he's ready to compete for a starting NFL spot. He said, "If you see the quarterback play in the league right now, I know I'm capable of doing better than that." That one line had the sports world buzzing, but instead of breaking down tape or stats, Rex decided to go full attack mode. On Get Up, he mocked Sanders' confidence, crossing his arms and saying, "Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks and runs his mouth." Like he said, "I can be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this." He kept going, yelling, "Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. Quit being an embarrassment." The energy was wild, and the backlash hit even harder. Ryan wasn't pulling punches, but fans thought he went way too far, especially since Sanders is still learning the ropes. At the time of the rant, Sanders wasn't even the starter. He was sitting third on Cleveland's depth chart, behind veteran Joe Flacco and rookie Dillon Gabriel. Still, the internet made one thing clear. They're not here for anyone clowning on a young player trying to prove himself. After all that chaos, things took an even wilder turn. Joe Flacco got benched, Dillon Gabriel was bumped up to starter, and Shedeur Sanders stayed locked in that number 3 spot for now. But the real storm hit when Sanders' mother, Pilar Sanders, decided she wasn't staying silent about Rex Ryan's comments. She unleashed pure fire in a now-deleted Instagram post that had everyone talking. To young athletes and football fans, this is what impotent, cancerous, envious energy looks like. She wrote, "This type of evil goes way back, embedded in blood and bones, seeping through all the rotting wormholes it has. What and who does he really represent? His family and peers should be embarrassed to know and let this on their platforms. There's no room for this type in sports." The post exploded online before she deleted it, but by then, it had already gone viral. Fans, athletes, and media outlets were reposting it everywhere, turning it into a massive cultural moment. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. During Wednesday's post-practice press session, Shedeur Sanders showed up, stood in front of the cameras, and didn't say a single word. Instead, he mimed his answers silently, keeping his composure the whole time. Reporters were stunned.
But at some point in time, when Rex Ryan is coming back saying the same thing that had you slide in the draft to begin with, unnamed narratives, unnamed.
Yeah.
So when you say if I know it, everybody in the league knows it.
Yeah.
You're lying, Rex Ryan. The pictures are right there. When you this trope, and we'll finish on this. This trope that you're lazy and you don't want to do stuff has been a trope on quarterbacks of color for years.
That is correct, yes.
It has been. So when you start throwing out that you don't have the cognitive ability, you're not smart, and they juxtapose that with the guy who's saying you're a supercomputer. You're a supercomputer, but you're lazy and you don't want to put the work in. Then you have a problem because you're consistently attacking my character, even though you see me out at Baldwin Wallace throwing the football, even when you see me doing extra. His arm was so sore because he stayed after practice for weeks and weeks and weeks just throwing the football. But yeah, every time you want clicks, you want to throw the narrative that you're lazy and less than. I can understand when he wants to get a little angry and excitable, because at some point in time, you got to stop sitting back taking the darts. Here's the thing I would say to him. Hey, what you do, your point was made. Here's now what you do. tuck yourself away, and get ready to play. Your point was made.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back and forth with Rex Ryan.
Right.
You know what they're going to bring. You know what's coming with it. So what you do now is you say, okay, log that away.
Team officials later told ESPN's Adam Schefter that this was a direct response to Rex Ryan's earlier remarks. Within hours, the video had millions of views under the hashtag #SilenceStand. For fans, it wasn't just a media stunt, it was a message. A young player choosing silence over shouting, letting his performance speak louder than any argument ever could. And while the internet debated what it meant, his father, Hall of Famer and Coach Prime himself, Shedeur Sanders, didn't drop a statement. He just posted a single shh emoji on X, formerly Twitter. One tiny symbol that said it all. No words, just power. That single shh emoji from Coach Prime spoke volumes. Fans instantly took it as a double hit. Full support for his son and a slick jab at Rex Ryan's over-the-top rant. Behind the scenes, though, ESPN wasn't laughing. Sources told ESPN that Ryan got called into a disciplinary meeting early Wednesday morning, where executives straight up confronted him about crossing the line. They weren't mad about having strong opinions. They were mad that he turned a sports critique into something personal and disrespectful. Later that day, ESPN dropped an official statement. "We take all on-air commentary seriously. Rex's comments regarding Shedeur Sanders did not meet our journalistic and professional standards. We have addressed the matter internally." Translation, Ryan went too far, and now he had to face the consequences. Multiple insiders confirmed that the network suspended Rex Ryan without pay for 1 week and demanded he deliver a public apology on air before coming back to get up. That's exactly what happened when he returned Friday morning. The tension in the studio was thick, but Ryan walked in calm, looked straight into the camera and said, "Before we start today's show, I want to address something. Last week I spoke about Shedeur Sanders in a way that was unfair. I crossed from critique into disrespect. That's not who I want to be. Shedeur, if you're watching, keep proving people wrong. You've got talent, kid. Show it." The internet went wild. Again! Some fans gave him credit for owning up to it, saying it took guts to admit he was wrong on live TV. Others weren't so forgiving, calling the apology too soft for what they saw as a personal attack. But while the media kept debating whether Rex's words were enough, Shedeur Sanders didn't say a thing. He stayed locked in, focused and ready, quietly letting the game talk for him. After that unforgettable silent interview shook the internet, Shedeur Sanders finally broke his silence the next day, but just barely. Speaking briefly to reporters on Thursday, he kept it classy and cool, saying, "I respect the game. I'm just here to work. Sometimes silence can be louder than words. That one line said everything." Fans called it mature, poetic, and even boss-level calm, proof that Sanders wasn't playing the drama game anymore. He was focused on the grind. Meanwhile, the Browns, sitting at 1-3, were gearing up to face the Minnesota Vikings in London on Sunday. Rookie Dillon Gabriel was still locked in as the starter, with Sanders staying in that QB3 spot. But make no mistake, after all this noise, everyone's eyes were on him. One good game, one bad start, and the whole depth chart could shift overnight. The whole incident didn't just spark memes and headlines, it set off a serious debate across the sports world. People were asking, where's the line between keeping it real and crossing it into disrespect? Especially when the target is a young player still finding his place in the league. Former NFL receiver Brandon Marshall jumped into the conversation on his I Am Athlete podcast, dropping a truth bomb. Rex comes from an era where coaches yelled and called guys out on TV, he said. But in 2025, it hits different. These young athletes have platforms, fans, and families ready to push back. That power dynamic has changed. Even current stars got involved. Miami Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill tweeted, "Shedeur handled that like a pro. Silence is power." That post blew up instantly, with players and fans echoing the same message. This new generation doesn't need to scream to make a statement. As for Rex Ryan, the man who stirred it all up, he's been with ESPN since 2017, building a rep as the loudest voice in any room, a mix of coach, showman, and chaos magnet. But this was the first time his words officially cost him. After years of walking that fine line between bold and too far, this time he finally crossed it. The ripple effects from Rex Ryan's outburst haven't slowed down one bit. Even days later, fans, analysts, and former players are still arguing over whether his suspension was fair or just a PR move to calm the storm. Some think ESPN did the right thing, that accountability matters when a media voice crosses the line. Others say the network only acted because the backlash got too loud to ignore. Either way, the whole thing has turned into one of the biggest media shakeups of the season. Behind the scenes, insiders say ESPN executives are now quietly reviewing how their on-air personalities handle criticism of young players, especially rookies trying to build confidence in the league. One producer even admitted off the record that the Shedeur Sanders situation exposed a blind spot, that networks love hot takes until the fire burns a little too close to home. And this one, it scorched everything in its path. Meanwhile, over in Cleveland, Sanders continues to move like nothing happened. He's showing up early, staying late, and locking in on film work like his career depends on it, because it does. Teammates say he's been cool, focused, and unbothered by the headlines. He's just working, one Browns player told local reporters. All the noise? That's not him. He's just waiting for his shot. That calm energy is earning him respect fast. Not just in the locker room, but across the league. Social media has already flipped the narrative too. What started as a wave of criticism against a rookie has turned into full-blown support. Fans are calling Sanders the silent assassin and saying his quiet response hit harder than any press conference could. It's wild. The same people who doubted him a week ago are now wearing his jersey. As for Rex Ryan, he might have thought this would blow over fast, but the internet's memory doesn't fade that easy. Every clip, every quote, every reaction is being replayed, dissected, and memed non-stop. The story's bigger than one comment now. It's a cultural shift in how the sports world handles respect, criticism, and the power of silence. By the weekend, the Rex Ryan versus Shedeur Sanders saga had officially transformed from a TV controversy into a full-blown movement. Everywhere you looked, talk shows, podcasts, TikToks, people were debating what really happened. Was Rex just being old school tough, or did he cross a line that can't be uncrossed? Fans weren't holding back either. Some demanded Ryan's permanent removal from Get Up, while others said the media had gone soft and that Sanders needed to take the heat if he wants the spotlight. The internet was split and the drama just kept growing. But here's the crazy part. While everyone else argued, Shedeur Sanders was out there doing what he always does, working. He showed up to practice early, threw with precision, and ran reps like a man who's got something to prove but nothing to say. That silent focus hit different. Reporters watching from the sideline said you could feel the energy. Calm, controlled, dangerous. One insider even said, it's like he's plotting his comeback in silence.
To pick with Rex Ryan after what he said about Shedeur Sanders. He is in no position to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Okay, Rex Ryan has now had multiple chances to be successful in the NFL, and he blew it. He should have been in the film room longer. He is the laughingstock. Okay, when he was with the New York Jets, his entire career was marked by the butt fumble. And then he comes with the Bills. He comes in, says he's going to win the Super Bowl, tries to get the entire city behind him, and he absolutely flopped on his face. Rex Ryan, you are a clown. Shedeur Sanders is a better man than you, so don't ever talk about him again. Keep Shedeur Sanders' name out of your mouth, Rex Ryan.
Even veteran players started to notice. A few league stars took to social media to praise Sanders' maturity. Former quarterback Cam Newton commented on a highlight reel saying, "Respect, he's doing it the right way," and that one line sent fans into a frenzy, because when someone like Cam gives props, the league listens. Meanwhile, Rex Ryan's image took another hit after leaked reports showed ESPN executives privately warning all analysts to tighten up their tone when discussing rookies or young black quarterbacks. That leak sent shockwaves through the sports world, sparking fresh conversations about bias and accountability in sports media. Some insiders even whispered that Rex's days as a TV favorite might be numbered if he doesn't find a new lane fast. As the Browns prepped for their London showdown, one thing became clear. Shedeur Sanders had flipped the narrative without saying a word. The same story that started as rookie under fire had now become rookie under control. And in a league fueled by ego and headlines, that kind of composure isn't just rare, it's dangerous. By the time Sunday rolled around, the spotlight had shifted completely. The Browns game in London wasn't just another matchup, it was the event everyone was tuning in for. Cameras weren't only aimed at the field, they were locked on the sidelines, waiting for any sign of Shedeur Sanders. Even though he was listed as QB3, the buzz around him felt like superstar energy. Every time the camera caught him throwing on the sideline or talking to teammates, social media went wild. Commentators couldn't stop bringing him up either. "You can feel the kid's presence," one analyst said during the pre-game show. "He's not even starting, but he's commanding attention like he is." That's the kind of aura you can't fake. It's confidence without words, swagger without sound, the kind that makes everyone else start to wonder when it's his time to shine. Meanwhile, Rex Ryan was still trending, but not for the reasons he wanted. Even though he'd already apologized, clips of his rant kept circulating, fueling new debates every few hours. Some fans said his suspension wasn't enough. Others claimed it was too harsh. But no matter which side they were on, everyone agreed on one thing. Shedeur had handled it with more grace and control than most pros twice his age. Back in the locker room, sources say Sanders stayed laser-focused. No distractions, no ego, just straight grind mode. One teammate told a local reporter, "He doesn't talk about the drama, he just works. That's it." And that silence is becoming his signature move. Across the league, players and coaches alike started noticing something. This wasn't just about a rookie or a rant anymore. It had become a story about control, poise, and legacy. Shedeur Sanders didn't clap back, didn't fold, didn't flinch. And in a game where most players chase headlines, he found power and patience. By the end of the night, even rival fans were saying it. That kid's different, and they're right, because while others talk, Shedeur's building something real, and the whole league can feel it. While ESPN hasn't confirmed whether more action will be taken, insiders are whispering that Rex Ryan's future at the network could hang on how he handles the fallout from this whole mess. One executive, speaking anonymously in an internal memo, made the message crystal clear. "We value passionate analysis, but we also value respect, especially toward young athletes who are still learning that line alone said it all." ESPN's not trying to kill personality. They're reminding everyone that power on camera comes with responsibility. And in the middle of all this, Shedeur Sanders just might have pulled off the biggest win of his young career without throwing a single pass. Drafted in the 5th round after shining under his father, Coach Prime, at Colorado, he's been living under a microscope since day one. The pressure's been constant. Comparisons, critics, expectations. But this week, he flipped the whole narrative. That silent act, the calm after all the chaos, turned into something bigger than anyone expected. Through one viral moment and the firestorm that followed, Sanders didn't just survive the media storm, he rose above it. Respect doesn't come easy in the NFL, but somehow, through pure composure, he earned it. As one Browns teammate told ESPN anonymously, he didn't yell, he didn't tweet, he just went quiet. And somehow, he ended up winning the whole argument. That's the kind of story that sticks, because it's not just about football anymore, it's about control, grace, and knowing when silence speaks louder than any mic ever could. So maybe this whole saga wasn't just a controversy. Maybe it was a lesson for the entire sports world. Words can build or break, and when the world's watching, the quietest move can be the most powerful one. Shedeur Sanders proved that this week, and did it without saying a single word. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you on the next one. Because this story is just getting started.